Trojan Felly, what's up, man? USCJ here. It's the top of the morning. I hope everybody is getting ready to get up, get out, and make some things happen this morning. Listen, we got a very, very interesting development that could possibly be on the table for the USC football Trojans. And look, you guys know this is Jakeem Stewart, the number one player in the state of Louisiana, number one player in the nation for the 2026 class, number one D lineman in the nation. And look, he was in a very, very interesting interview yesterday with the representative for On3. And I listened to that interview very carefully. And he talked about the possibilities of reclassifying to the 2025 class. You guys know USC already currently has a commitment from someone who already reclassified to the 2025 class. That's no other than quarterback Julian Lewis out of the state of Georgia. Julian Lewis was a part of the 2026 class, decided to reclassify. So that means that USC will now get him 1 year early. And listen, the reason it's really, really significant is because you guys know that Eric Henderson took a visit to go see Jakeem Stewart. And as well, Jakeem Stewart came to USC. So we'll talk about this, man, because this is a major development. Because right now, you guys already know, USC currently has one of the best defensive lines classes in the country. Isaiah Gibson, we talked about that. Of course, you guys know we talked about Justice Terry. We talked about the other guys that could possibly be getting ready to make a commitment as well. So now USC is in prime position to really dominate. Odom is on the map as well. Defensive lineman out of the state of North Carolina. We could possibly see a commitment from him maybe any day now, possibly. So there's some things that are on the table. But when you look at a kid like Jakeem Stewart, we're talking about dominant player in the nation. We're talking about one that's second to none, goes to St. Augustine High School in Louisiana. The guy put up some phenomenal numbers of 20 sacks, 85 tackles, 33 tackles for loss, 6 forced fumbles. I mean, it's straight up go time with this kid. And you're talking about someone who has a large frame, the front line defensive prospect with the rare physical traits relative to his age. So you're talking about somebody that's just, the size, you can see it there, the power, the size, the speed. And you look at him, how he just throws this guy backwards. I mean, it's unbelievable. And so, he has excellent height with the plus length and relatively lean build. If you look at his frame, you're talking about 6'6", 280 pounds. He flashes hand violence at the point of attack. He's capable of a dip and the bend and ability from the edge with the size and strength to play the interior. So you're talking about a kid that's still developing and so much potential with him. You see him here. And so, man, look, if he reclassifies, that is to be the first step for USC to potentially get into the number one class in the country. Because you guys know there was a false report that was put out, and one of those representatives, I'm not even going to say the network, they said that they get in, I think they put a prediction out for him right after he came from USC, prediction to go to LSU. It was actually came to be false because within 10 minutes, Jakeem Stewart came out and said, my recruitment is still open. He was very committed. He talked about Eric Henderson, in fact, in that On3 interview just yesterday. And so you guys know that he took to Eric Henderson well, talked about how he's the father type of figure, how he could be developed under him. And the proof is in the pudding. Of course, you guys know, hey, Aaron Donald, you had all these different things that were made available to these guys. And so he sees that. And you see him here in that uniform, USC. He looks good in that USC uniform. We're talking about a kid that absolutely can move and groove. And if USC is able to somehow be able to get this reclassification from him and be able to make this commitment, listen, USC is not only going to have the number one defensive line in the country, but USC is going to have the number one class in the country. You guys know On3 right now, they have USC sitting at the number 3 class in the country right now. And if this happens, USC is going to be in prime position to get the number one class in the country. Who would have ever thought? And you still got other guys like Brandon, he's committed to Texas. I can't remember his name. You got other guys in Myron Charles. You got other guys that are still on the map for USC right now. So listen, this thing is no way, no shape, no, not even close to being done. And I think it's going to be go time, man. So you guys drop those comments in the comment section. You guys let me know what you think. I want to talk about something else as well as it relates to USC. They're picked in the category for some specific things. We'll take a look at that information real quick. But drop those comments. Let me guys know what you think about Jakeem Stewart possibly reclassifying to the 2025 class. All right, so here is the last thing I want to show you. This is a list that came out from Sports Illustrated yesterday. And the list is the top college football programs of all time. Listen, you guys know Sports Illustrated came with it, the lightning and the thunder, because they know what they recognize. What do we say? Real recognize real. Listen, they recognize when a real program is here in the building, in the place. And you see, they got it ranked as follow. This is the top 10. Alabama's going to be number 1. You guys know Alabama, Nick Saban. They went on an incredible run. I mean, you can't argue that. They did it. He did it for years. They produced some phenomenal athletes. Mark Ingram. I mean, I can go on and on and on down the list. Najee Harris. The list goes on. Julio Jones. I mean, they had some phenomenal athletes. They built a dynasty there. They built a powerhouse there. They reestablished their brand, and they're a national brand, just following pretty much the same footsteps the way that Pete Carroll did, but he did it more with more national championships, and he did it for a longer period of time. So you got to give Alabama. I don't mind giving them that credit. But close second, it's going to be USC. You guys know USC is one of the most dominant programs in the country. Everybody knows that, and so for Sports Illustrated to recognize that, I think it's absolutely straight up go time. I think it's phenomenal because they look at the 11 national championships, the Heisman Trophy winners. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And you guys know, I'll put this information out on my Twitter. USC is in the front of a lot of categories, whether it's first in most drafted players, most running backs. I mean, every category. Even though they hadn't won the championship as of late, USC is still leading the flock, leading the whole thing as far as categories as it relates to all these different things. And so that's just saying a whole lot within itself. And so Oklahoma is going to be number 3. Ohio State is number 4. 5 is going to be Notre Dame. 6 is going to be Michigan. 7 is going to be Texas. 8 is going to be Georgia. 9 is going to be Nebraska. Some may say, hey, Jay, why is Nebraska in the mix? Well, Nebraska was a powerhouse way back in the day. Of course, you guys know they had Tom Osborne. They had a heck of a team, Frost. I remember all those teams, Lawrence Phillips. I mean, USCJ is a football historian, so I know about all those teams, man. I've been around for all of them. And so they were a powerhouse back in the day. And then LSU, we can't argue with them being number 10. They did some phenomenal things as well under Nick Saban, and of course, going throughout the years with Les Miles, they did their thing with them, and then of course with Coach O, they won one with him. So rightfully so, LSU is in the right place. But you see where USC is number 2, and we only number 2 to a team like Alabama. And I think the rate we're going right now, the recruiting, USC can reestablish. Lincoln Riley can have a dynasty here. He's establishing a dynasty type of environment, and I think that what you're seeing now. The way we're moving and grooving, I think USC is headed back in that direction. So look, you guys drop those comments. You guys let me know what you think. You guys, it's USCJ32 on Instagram, USCJ32 on Twitter, and don't forget, I am partnering up with a company called Bucked Up. Bucked Up has a long line of supplements. Listen, and these are a couple of things that I use right here. They have a women's line as well called Babe. However, they do have men that use some of the products called Babe, such as the collagen products, which is one of the ones that I use. They also have a product that I use right here called Rook. But here's my main one right here. These are Bucked Up energy shots. I don't like drinking coffee. You guys might like it, but I don't like it. So any event that I want some energy, I will use the Bucked Up energy shots, or I will have a cold Bucked Up in the refrigerator. Listen, man. So look, use USCJ32 promo code, and you guys will get a discount for any Bucked Up products, man. Until later on, listen, everybody stay blessed. Fight on, fight on.